Arab millionaire abandoned his wife and newborn twins on his mother's orders, but what he saw on TV. In the bustling city of Dubai, where luxury and opulence reigned supreme, Amir al-Sayed lived a life of unimaginable wealth. His mansion stood as a testament to his success, nestled among sprawling gardens adorned with exotic flowers and sparkling fountains. The interior was a showcase of priceless art and antiques from around the world, each piece telling a story of his travels and inquests. The scent of rare blooms filled the air, while the distant hum of the city served as a constant reminder of the vibrant world outside his gilded sanctuary. Amir's life was one of privilege and power, where every desire was met with ease, and every challenge was an opportunity for triumph. Yet, amidst this grandeur, he often felt a hollow emptiness, a longing for something more meaningful than material wealth. Amir al-Sayed was a powerful Arab millionaire, known throughout Dubai for his sharp business acumen and commanding presence. His stern demeanor and unyielding determination had earned him respect and admiration from peers and competitors alike. Amir's life was a testament to his ambition, filled with luxuries that most could only dream of. Yet behind this facade of success and wealth, Amir hid a heart burdened by the weight of past mistakes and the shadows of regret. Despite his outward confidence, Amir often found himself grappling with the choices he had made, particularly those that had led him to abandon the woman he loved and their newborn twins. His mother's insistence on maintaining their family's prestigious image had driven him to make decisions that prioritized duty over love, leaving him with a deep sense of loss and longing. Amir's life was a carefully constructed image, designed to project strength and invulnerability. However, the cracks in this facade were beginning to show. He spent countless nights alone in his opulent mansion, the silence echoing with memories of what could have been. The luxuries that once brought him comfort now felt hollow, a stark reminder of the emptiness within. As he sat in his study one evening, nursing a glass of aged whiskey, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing, that his life, despite its outward glamour, lacked true meaning and fulfillment. One evening, as Amir sat in his luxurious study, the silence was broken by the soft hum of the television in the background. He glanced up from his work, his eyes drawn to the screen. A news report flashed across, showing a face he hadn't seen in years, Layla, the woman he had once loved deeply. Her eyes, filled with determination and a hint of sadness, stared back at him, stirring a whirlwind of memories he had long tried to suppress. The report detailed Layla's struggles as a single mother, raising twin children, alone. Despite the hardships, her strength and resilience shone through. She had built a modest yet fulfilling life for herself and her children, far from the shadows of their shared past. Watching her on the screen, Amir felt a pang of regret and longing. He remembered the love they had shared, the dreams they had woven together, and the painful decision that had torn them apart. Amir's heart ached as he watched Layla speak about her journey. He couldn't help but wonder what their life could have been like if he had made different choices. The weight of his past actions pressed down on him, filling him with a profound sense of loss. He realized that he could no longer ignore the guilt that had been gnawing at him for years. He had to act, to make amends for the pain he had caused. In that moment, Amir made a decision that would change the course of his life. He would find Layla and their children, face the consequences of his past actions, and strive to make things right. Little did he know, the journey ahead would be filled with challenges and revelations that would test his resolve and transform his life forever. Amir found himself in a state of constant turmoil, unable to escape the haunting memories of Layla and their twins. Every corner of his luxurious mansion seemed to echo with the laughter and joy they could have shared had he made different choices. The opulence that once brought him comfort now felt hollow, a stark reminder of the emptiness in his life. He spent countless nights awake, staring at the ornate ceiling, his mind a whirlwind of regret and longing. The silence of the night amplified his thoughts, forcing him to confront the reality of his actions. He had walked away from Layla and their newborn twins, all because of his mother's insistence on maintaining their family's prestigious image. At the time, it had seemed like the only choice, a sacrifice for the greater good of his family's reputation. But now, the weight of that decision pressed down on him, filling him with a profound sense of loss and guilt. Amir's internal struggle was not just about the past, but also about the man he had become. He had always prided himself on his strength and resilience, qualities that had helped him build a vast business empire. But now, he questioned whether true strength lay in power and wealth, or in the ability to acknowledge one's mistakes and strive to make amends. This realization gnawed at him, making him restless and uncertain about his future. In his quest for redemption, Amir began to withdraw from his usual social circles. The lavish parties and high-stakes business meetings that once filled his calendar now seemed frivolous and meaningless. He found himself craving solitude, seeking refuge in the quiet corners of his mansion, where he could reflect on his life and the choices that had led him to this point. He spent hours in his study, poring over old photographs and letters, searching for answers in the remnants of his past. One evening, as he sat alone in his study, a framed photograph of Layla caught his eye. It was a candid shot, taken during happier times, her laughter captured in a moment of pure joy. Amir picked up the photograph, his fingers tracing the outline of her face. The image brought a mixture of emotions. A smile tugged at the corners of his mouth as he remembered the happiness they had once shared, but tears also welled up in his eyes as he thought of the pain he had caused. In an attempt to process his emotions, Amir began writing letters to Layla. He poured out his heart onto the pages, expressing his deepest regrets and his longing to make things right. Each word was a step towards understanding the pain he had caused and the love he had lost. Though he knew Layla might never read these letters, the act of writing them was cathartic, helping him confront his feelings and find a sense of clarity. Amir's internal struggle was further compounded by the expectations placed upon him by his family and society. He had always been taught to prioritize duty and honor above personal desires. But now he questioned whether this path had brought him true happiness. He grappled with the idea that perhaps, in his quest to uphold his family's reputation, he had lost sight of what truly mattered: love, compassion, and the simple joys of life. As the days turned into weeks, Amir's internal struggle intensified. He knew that he had to face his past actions and make amends, no matter how difficult it might be. He had to find the courage to confront Layla and accept whatever consequences came his way. This realization filled him with a mix of fear and determination, knowing that the road ahead would be filled with uncertainty, but also with the potential for growth and healing. Amir's journey toward redemption was not one he could undertake alone. The relationships in his life, both supportive and challenging, played a crucial role in shaping his path. Among the most influential figures were his mother, Fatima, and his closest friend, Karim. Each brought a unique dynamic to Amir's life, pushing him to confront his past and make amends. Fatima, a formidable force. Fatima al-Sayed was a woman of unyielding strength and determination. She had always been the driving force behind Amir's decisions, her iron will shaping his life according to her desires. When she sensed that Amir was planning to reach out to Layla, she made her disapproval clear. Fatima saw Layla as a threat to their family's reputation and status, and she was determined to prevent Amir from reconnecting with her. One evening, as Amir sat in his study, Fatima entered with a stern expression. "You've been distant lately, Amir," she said, her voice sharp. "Is something bothering you?" Amir sighed, knowing that honesty would only lead to conflict. "I've been thinking about the past, Mother, about the choices I've made." Fatima's expression hardened. "The past is best left alone, Amir. We made those choices for the good of our family. You must not let sentimentality cloud your judgment." Amir knew arguing with his mother was futile, but he couldn't ignore the guilt that gnawed at him. He needed to make amends, even if it meant defying her wishes. "Mother, I understand your concerns, but I can't live with this regret any longer. I need to make things right with Layla." Fatima's eyes flashed with anger. "You will do no such thing, Amir. Our family's reputation is at stake. You will not jeopardize it for some foolish notion of redemption." Despite his mother's opposition, Amir was resolute in his decision. He knew that defying her would come at a great personal cost, potentially straining their relationship and risking his standing within the family. But he also knew that he could no longer live with the guilt and regret that had consumed him for so long. Karim, a voice of reason. Amir's closest friend, Karim, noticed the turmoil Amir was going through. Karim had always been a voice of reason, offering support and advice whenever Amir needed it. One day over coffee, Karim broached the subject. "You've been different lately, Amir," Karim said, his voice gentle. "Is it because of Layla?" Amir nodded, grateful for his friend's insight. "I can't stop thinking about her and our children. I need to make things right, Karim. But I don't know where to start." Karim offered a reassuring smile. "It's never too late to make amends, Amir. But you must be prepared to face the consequences of your actions. Layla may not be ready to forgive you, and you must respect that." Amir appreciated his friend's honesty. He knew that the path to redemption would be filled with challenges, but he was ready to face them. "I know it won't be easy, Karim, but I have to try. I owe it to Layla and our children." Karim nodded in support. "Then I will be here for you, Amir. Whatever you need, I'm here to help." Layla, the heart of the matter. As Amir prepared to face Layla, he reflected on their past relationship. They had been deeply in love, their bond strong and unbreakable, or so he had thought. The day he walked away, leaving her and their newborn twins behind, was a moment that haunted him. He had justified his actions by telling himself that he did what was best for his family's reputation. But now he saw the shallow nature of that reasoning. Amir knew that facing Layla would be the most challenging part of his journey. He had no idea how she would react to seeing him again after all these years. Would she be angry, hurt, or indifferent? The uncertainty gnawed at him, but he was determined to face her nonetheless. He spent hours rehearsing what he would say, trying to find the right words to express his regret and longing for forgiveness. He knew that actions spoke louder than words, so he planned to offer Layla his support, both emotionally and financially, hoping to make her life and that of their children easier. The twins, a bridge to the past. Amir also thought about his twins, whom he had never had the chance to know. He wondered what they looked like, what their personalities were like, and whether they knew about him. The thought of meeting them filled him with a mix of excitement and fear. He wanted to be a part of their lives to make up for the lost time, but he also knew that he had to earn that right. He decided to approach the situation with humility and patience, allowing Layla to set the pace for his involvement in their lives. He was prepared to take on any role she deemed appropriate, whether it be a distant supporter or a more active participant in their lives. Confronting the past. As Amir delved deeper into his journey, he realized that the relationships in his life were both a source of strength and a challenge. His mother's disapproval was a constant obstacle, but he drew courage from Karim's unwavering support. The thought of facing Layla and his children filled him with uncertainty, but he was driven by a desire to make amends and find redemption. Through these relationships, Amir gained a deeper understanding of himself and the values he wanted to uphold. He realized that true strength lay not in power or wealth, but in the ability to acknowledge one's mistakes and strive to make amends. This newfound perspective gave him the courage to face the challenges ahead, knowing that the journey towards redemption would be filled with uncertainty, but also with the potential for growth and healing. Amir's decision to reach out to Layla was just the beginning of a journey filled with challenges and uncertainties. He knew that finding her and reconnecting would not be easy, especially after so many years of silence. The first obstacle he faced was locating Layla. He hired a private investigator to track her down, hoping to discover where life had taken her. The investigator's report revealed that Layla had moved to a small town far from the bustling city life they once shared. She had built a modest yet fulfilling life for herself and their twins, away from the shadows of their past. The thought of facing Layla after all these years filled Amir with a mix of fear and anticipation. He knew he had to confront her, to offer an explanation and an apology for his past actions. But the fear of her reaction, of the pain and anger she might still harbor, weighed heavily on him. He spent countless nights rehearsing what he would say, trying to find the right words to express his regret and longing for forgiveness. Amir's mother, Fatima, remained a significant obstacle in his path. She had always been a formidable presence in his life, her expectations and demands shaping his decisions. When she sensed that Amir was planning to reach out to Layla, she made her disapproval clear. Fatima saw Layla as a threat to their family's reputation and status, and she was determined to prevent Amir from reconnecting with her. She used every tactic at her disposal, from emotional manipulation to veiled threats, to try and dissuade him. Despite his mother's opposition, Amir was resolute in his decision. He knew that defying her would come at a great personal cost, potentially straining their relationship and risking his standing within the family. But he also knew that he could no longer live with the guilt and regret that had consumed him for so long. He had to make things right, no matter the consequences. Amir also faced internal obstacles, battling his own doubts and insecurities. He questioned whether he deserved forgiveness, whether he could ever make up for the pain he had caused. He struggled with the fear of rejection, of Layla turning him away and refusing to give him a chance to make amends. These doubts gnawed at him, making each step of his journey more challenging. As Amir prepared to travel to the small town where Layla lived, he encountered logistical obstacles as well. He had to navigate the complexities of his business empire, ensuring that his absence would not disrupt the operations he had worked so hard to build. He also had to contend with the scrutiny of the media, who were always eager to report on the personal lives of the wealthy and influential. Amir knew that his actions could attract unwanted attention, potentially exposing Layla and their children to public scrutiny. Despite these challenges, Amir remained determined. He knew that the road to redemption would be filled with obstacles, but he was ready to face them head-on. With each step, he grew more resolute in his decision, driven by a desire to make amends and find forgiveness. He knew that the journey would be difficult, but he also knew that it was a path he had to walk for the sake of his own healing and for the chance to build a better future, with Layla and their children. Amir found himself consumed by thoughts of Layla and the life they could have had together. He spent countless nights awake, staring at the ceiling, his mind a whirlwind of regret and longing. The weight of his past decisions pressed heavily on him, and he couldn't escape the feeling that he had made a grave mistake by walking away from her and their children. In an attempt to process his emotions, Amir began writing letters to Layla. He poured out his heart onto the pages, expressing his deepest regrets and his longing to make things right. Each word was a step towards understanding the pain he had caused and the love he had lost. Though he knew Layla might never read these letters, the act of writing them was cathartic, helping him confront his feelings and find a sense of clarity. Amir often found solace in conversations with his friend Karim. Over countless cups of coffee, they discussed the complexities of life, love, and redemption. Karim, always a voice of reason, reminded Amir of the importance of honesty and humility. He encouraged Amir to face his past actions with sincerity and to approach Layla with an open heart, ready to accept whatever consequences came his way. Through these conversations, Amir gained a deeper understanding of himself and the values he wanted to uphold. He realized that true strength lay not in power or wealth, but in the ability to acknowledge one's mistakes and strive to make amends. This newfound perspective gave him the courage to face the challenges ahead, knowing that the journey toward redemption would be filled with uncertainty, but also with the potential for growth and healing. One evening, as Amir sat alone in his study, he picked up a framed photograph of Layla and their twins. The image brought a mixture of emotions. A smile tugged at the corners of his mouth as he remembered the joy they had once shared, but tears also welled up in his eyes as he thought of the pain he had caused. He knew the road ahead would be difficult, filled with obstacles and potential heartache, but he was ready to face it. Driven by a desire to make amends and find redemption, Amir was determined to confront his past and build a better future, no matter the cost. Amir stood at a crossroads, knowing that the next steps he took would define his future and potentially alter the course of his life forever. He had spent countless nights wrestling with his thoughts, weighing the consequences of his actions, and contemplating the best way to approach Layla. The decision to face her was not an easy one, fraught with uncertainty and the fear of rejection. One evening, as he sat in his study, surrounded by the remnants of his past photographs, letters, and memories, Amir made his final decision. He would travel to the small town where Layla now lived, confront her with honesty and humility, and offer his sincere apologies. He knew that words alone would not be enough to heal the wounds of the past, but he hoped that his actions would speak louder than any promises he could make. Amir began to make preparations for his journey. He arranged for his business affairs to be managed in his absence, ensuring that his responsibilities would not suffer during this crucial time. He also took steps to safeguard Layla and their children from any potential media scrutiny, knowing that his actions could attract unwanted attention. As the day of his departure approached, Amir felt a mix of anticipation and dread. He knew that this journey would be unlike any other he had undertaken. It was not a business venture or a luxurious vacation, but a pilgrimage of sorts, a quest for redemption and forgiveness. He packed lightly, taking only the essentials and a heart full of hope and determination. The night before his departure, Amir visited his mother. He knew that their relationship would be strained by his decision, but he felt a sense of duty to inform her of his plans. Fatima listened in stony silence as Amir explained his intentions, her expression unreadable. When he finished speaking, she simply nodded, her eyes reflecting a mix of disappointment and resignation. "I hope you find what you are looking for, Amir," she said, her voice devoid of emotion. "But remember, the past cannot be changed, only accepted." Amir nodded, understanding the weight of his mother's words. He knew that his journey would not be easy, but he was resolved to see it through, no matter the outcome. The small town where Layla lived was a stark contrast to the bustling city life Amir was accustomed to. The streets were quieter, the pace of life slower, and the air filled with a sense of tranquility that Amir had not experienced in a long time. As he drove through the town, he felt a strange mix of nostalgia and apprehension, knowing that he was about to face the most challenging moment of his life. Amir parked his car outside a modest house, the address provided by the private investigator. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the confrontation ahead. As he walked up to the front door, he could hear the sound of children's laughter coming from inside, filling him with a sense of longing and regret. He knocked on the door, his heart pounding in his chest. The door opened, and there stood Layla, her eyes widening in shock as she recognized Amir. For a moment, they stood in silence, the weight of their shared past hanging heavy in the air between them. Layla's expression was a mix of surprise, anger, and pain, and Amir braced himself for her reaction. "Layla," he began, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside him. "I know that my being here is a shock, and I understand if you don't want to see me. But I had to come. I had to see you and apologize for the pain I caused you." Layla's eyes flashed with anger, and she took a step back, her hand gripping the doorframe tightly. "Apologize?" she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "You think an apology can make up for what you did? For the years of pain and struggle you put me through?" Amir nodded, understanding the depth of her anger. "I know that words can never make up for what I did, Layla, but I hope that my actions can. I want to make amends, to support you and our children in any way I can. I want to be a part of their lives if you'll let me." Layla's expression softened slightly, and she looked at Amir with a mix of curiosity and caution. "Why now, Amir?" she asked, her voice filled with skepticism. "Why, after all these years, have you suddenly decided to come back into our lives?" Amir took a deep breath, knowing that honesty was the only way forward. "Because I saw you on TV, Layla. I saw the strength and resilience with which you built a life for yourself and our children, and I realized the depth of my mistake. I realized that I could no longer live with the regret and guilt of my past actions. I had to come and face you, to offer my support and my apologies, and to hope that somehow we can find a way to move forward." The confrontation between Amir and Layla was intense and emotional, leaving both of them drained. Amir had laid bare his soul, expressing his deepest regrets and his longing for forgiveness. Layla, though initially angry and hurt, had listened to him, her expression softening as she saw the sincerity in his eyes. In the days that followed, Amir stayed in the small town, giving Layla the space she needed to process his sudden reappearance in her life. He took up residence in a modest hotel, using the time to reflect on his actions and prepare for whatever outcome might come. He spent his days exploring the town, appreciating the simple pleasures of life that he had long taken for granted. Layla, meanwhile, grappled with a whirlwind of emotions. She thought about the pain Amir had caused her, the struggles she had faced raising their twins alone, and the strength she had found within herself. She also thought about the love they had once shared and the possibility of forgiveness and healing. After much contemplation, she decided to give Amir a chance to make amends, not for herself, but for the sake of their children. Amir was overjoyed when Layla reached out to him, inviting him to meet their twins. The meeting was tentative at first, the children eyeing him with a mix of curiosity and wariness. But Amir's genuine warmth and interest in them slowly broke down their barriers. He spent time with them, listening to their stories, sharing his own, and gradually building a bond that he hoped would grow stronger with time. Through his journey, Amir underwent a profound transformation. He learned the value of humility, honesty, and the importance of facing one's mistakes. He realized that true strength lay not in power or wealth, but in the ability to acknowledge one's flaws and strive to make amends. This newfound understanding brought him a sense of peace and fulfillment that he had never known before. Amir also gained a deeper appreciation for the simple joys of life: the laughter of children, the comfort of a shared meal, the beauty of a quiet evening. He understood that these moments were the true essence of happiness, far more valuable than any material wealth or social status. This realization led him to reassess his priorities, focusing more on building meaningful relationships and less on accumulating wealth and power. Layla, too, experienced personal growth through this process. She found the strength to forgive Amir, not for his sake, but for her own healing and peace of mind. She learned that holding on to anger and resentment only caused her more pain, and that forgiveness was a path to freedom and happiness. Through her interactions with Amir, she also gained a new perspective on their past relationship, appreciating the love they had shared and the potential for a future built on mutual respect and understanding. Together, Amir and Layla began to rebuild their relationship, taking small steps towards a future that held the promise of healing and happiness. They focused on co-parenting their twins, providing them with the love and support they needed to thrive. Their journey was not without challenges, but they faced them together, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. As Amir and Layla continued to navigate their newfound relationship, they found solace in the simple moments they shared with their children. The twins, initially cautious, began to warm up to Amir, their laughter filling the air as they played together in the park or shared stories over dinner. Each day brought new discoveries and a deeper understanding of the love that bound them together. However, their journey was far from over. Amir knew that rebuilding trust and forgiveness would take time, and he was committed to earning Layla's trust one step at a time. He continued to support her and their children, both emotionally and financially, ensuring that they had everything they needed to thrive. Meanwhile, Layla found herself torn between the past and the future. She cherished the moments they shared as a family, but also grappled with the memories of the pain Amir had caused. She knew that forgiveness was a journey, not a destination, and she was willing to take that journey for the sake of their children and her own healing. As they looked towards the future, Amir and Layla decided to take things slow, focusing on co-parenting and building a strong foundation for their relationship. They agreed to keep the lines of communication open, addressing any issues that arose with honesty and respect. Their shared goal was to create a stable and loving environment for their children, where they could grow and flourish. The story of Amir and Layla serves as a testament to the power of forgiveness, redemption, and the enduring strength of love. Their journey is a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there is always hope for healing and happiness. As they continue to navigate the complexities of their relationship, they do so with a shared commitment to growth, understanding, and the unbreakable bond of family.